Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Superwise. I'm John, and for this live stream, I will be going solo. So that's exciting. I had, I had a plan for some people to come. Either they were too busy or too late, and who knows? Maybe someone will pop in during the stream. But right now, it is going to be just me, my first solo live stream. So this is exciting. This is great. So I guess let's just start off with the first topic, and that is, I was gonna talk about this in a regular normal video, but I figured, you know what, let me just save it for the live stream. So yes, DC's Blue Beetle movie will be going straight to HBO Max, not to theaters. Yes, Braden, solo live stream. Who knows? Someone may pop in later. But yeah, because I pushed the stream like 40 times, and I just gotta just gotta do it at some point. So yes, back to the topic. DC's Blue Beetle movie is going straight to HBO Max. It's not going to theaters. This news came to us from the LA Times. And to be honest with you, I guess I sort of expected it, because Walter Hamada in that Hollywood Reporter article said that the riskier DC projects will be going to HBO Max, and Blue Beetle is, kind of experimental. It's something that's never been done before. So on that level, I understand why it's going to HBO Max. But I'm a little disappointed, to be honest with you guys, because I love the character of Blue Beetle. Grew up with the comics, love the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon. I love Blue Beetle, and I would have loved to see him on the big screen. Batgirl. I get it. That's going to HBO Max. Like, I get that. It's a smaller project. You don't need a big budget for that. But for Blue Beetle, you do need a little bit of a budget. You got to make the suit. Like, how's the suit gonna look? Because it's going to HBO Max, so therefore it's gonna have a smaller budget. I hope it looks good. But who knows? It's weird. It's really weird, because I would have liked to see Blue Beetle on the big screen. Where was I going with this? Yeah, it's just weird. You would figure DC, like, this is the first Latino DC superhero. You would figure that maybe DC would want to, like, market that, and just like on the big screen. That's sort of a big deal, right? But no, it's going straight to HBO Max. I bet you that Black Superman movie is going straight to theaters. I don't why. That needs to go to HBO Max. If anything is experimental, that's experimental. Braden says Blue Beetle going straight to HBO Max. Man, I'd say they should have more confidence in their properties, but COVID is here, so I get it. Yeah, well, things are starting to get back to normal. People are getting vaccinated. Theaters are open for the most part. And this Blue Beetle movie, it doesn't have a release date, maybe 2022, 2023. Things should be, back to normal, right? I love the Blue Beetle character. I would have loved to see him on the big screen. And the budget, like, you can't make no cheap Blue Beetle movie. You got to make the suit look convincing. It's just a little disappointing, but I get it. I love the Blue Beetle character. I will watch this movie regardless. Is it going to be in the DCU? Is it going to be an alternate universe thing set in the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves world? Like, what's going on? Yeah, I just hope it comes out, as a movie. I hope it comes out nice. I can't wait to see this. If it's going to HBO Max, maybe it should have been an HBO Max miniseries. I don't know. Maybe flesh out the character of Jaime a little more. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still excited for this movie. I'm still gonna see it. I can't wait to see him in live action. Just a little disappointing he's not going to be on the big screen. And if Black Superman is going to be on the big screen and this movie isn't, come on, really? You got to be kidding me. Yes, and Ashley the Widow has joined us. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you? How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Yeah, I'm pretty much finished on this topic. This was a very quick, topic. Do you have anything to say about this news? Blue Beetle going straight to HBO Max, not to theaters?
I just think again, this is WB not really, and maybe this is more of HBO Max, kind of taking the reins, AT&T kind of, laying their hand down and saying we need content over here on HBO Max. But I think it deserves a theatrical release. But maybe the budget's not going to be very high and it's not going to be that grand in scale. But I think it should be a theatrical release because the importance of the character. And if you tell an authentic story, it could have a very, big impact. But we'll see. Maybe on HBO Max, they're trying to develop that content there for HBO Max because we know they need more original content there, new content. So maybe from there, maybe they can have a series of films that are dedicated to HBO Max, or maybe if the first one performs so well, maybe the second one could be a theatrical release. But it is a little, and maybe they feel that not enough people will go out to the theaters to see it, because I don't know much about Blue Beetle myself. So, but I feel like that's WB not believing enough in the material to feel like it deserves that release. Because, B-level characters can become billion-dollar, wins at the end of the day. But hey, WB has made the decision to put it on HBO Max. And maybe they feel that their content is more viable there than it is in the theaters as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's good. Good analysis. I would have loved to see it on the big screen, but I'm going to see this regardless. Hopefully that suit looks good. I don't need it looking cheap and weird because, naturally you're going to have less of a budget on HBO Max. Blue Beetle, like Batgirl doesn't deserve that big of a budget, but Blue Beetle, you got the technology, it deserves somewhat of a budget. So hopefully it'll come out good, and if this movie is going to HBO Max, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Static Shock went to HBO Max, which I want to see that on the big screen too. So, it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. Just a little, I was expecting it, just a little disappointed.
Yes.
So, with all that out of the way, we can finally get to the main topic, which, I've pushed this stream 400 times. Finally, we get to talk about it.
I feel finally, like some of that's my fault, isn't it? No.
I was waiting for not just you, for quite a few people. But, we can make some good conversation out of this because obviously we have some new MCU content to talk about. Yes, Loki Episode 1, Glorious Purpose, has released on Disney+. It is out there. You can watch it now. And so I recently watched it a couple hours ago, and we're just going to talk about it. We're just going to spoil it. I know, Widow, on your channel, you went ahead and you talked all about Loki. I don't know your thoughts. So just, you know what? Just simply tell me.
You just want me to give you the basic? Loki? I liked it. I did like it. I felt like the first episode for me was stronger than the first episode of WandaVision. It was stronger than the first episode of Falcon the Winter Soldier. And I was pleasantly surprised because going into this was the one show out of all of the MCU slate of shows that I was kind of not really excited about, because here is a character that had died in the MCU. And like I said, I know it's the 2012 version. I know that these characters come back in the comic books. But when we're talking about live action, right, it looks like fake stakes, and you need to have that weight of what can happen in a live action film with some of these characters. So him, being coming back again, just felt like, oh, we killed him and you all had all these emotional feelings, but he's back. But overall, it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it too. Did a review on it, gave my brief thoughts, but we're going to definitely go into this episode and talk about some of the specifics. Superboy says, in my opinion, Loki is a solid first episode. I'm ready for episode 2. Far. Yeah, I really liked it. If I usually don't rate things, but if I had to rate out of 10, I'd say maybe an 8. It was very exposition heavy.
Yes.
But yeah, I really can't complain, because what they did with Loki was actually, in the TVA and all of that, was actually really fascinating to me. So, I wasn't even bored during that entire first episode. I was interested in the mythology and all that. So I guess starting with that first scene, which I was smiling, because of course it's the Avengers. First scene is from Avengers Endgame, and I like what they did. It wasn't just that standard Avengers Endgame scene. There were little nuggets of new footage that the show showed, focusing more on Loki. I just thought that was a nice little touch. And then Loki wakes up in that desert, and the TVA comes, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? This is pretty interesting. And then that TVA officer hits her staff against Loki's face, and it's like in slow mo, and it looked really weird and just goofy and funny. I like that. Where else to go?
Then they capture him. It's funny. I thought when his face is going in slow motion, that was funny. And then I even liked her explanation of, because she's describing what he's feeling. And yes, it was an explanation, but I thought it was cute, the both of those things together. But in general, I'm not really so big on her character yet. But
yeah, neither am I.
But then we get to the point where he's at the TVA. And what did you think about the way the TVA looked?
I thought it, like I said in my review, it was excellent world building. I really liked the whole TVA setting, how each sort of section of the TVA was established, Loki going through it. I really liked, first of all, there's Miss Minutes, that cute little a drive-in movie cartoon, voiced by Tara Strong, who voices Harley Quinn in those DC animated movies. That was a nice little touch. But it's what, the exposition on the TVA's existence that was actually really interesting to me.
Yeah.
How there was this multiversal war, and then the timekeepers created they created the TVA to protect the sacred timeline and whatever. That whole mythology is actually pretty interesting, and it's setting up, the multiverse. In Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought it was really interesting. Tara Strong was amazing. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I remember seeing Miss Minute in the trailer and thought, I don't like this. I thought
I didn't see her in the trailer. I watched
there was a TV spot. There was a TV spot that came out, and it was called Miss Minute. And I thought, oh, this is silly. But then when I saw it in the context of the show, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was my favorite part, when it came to the exposition, them breaking everything down within the context of the show, that it did the best job. And it made the most sense, because here he's coming, to stand trial. He's never been there before. So they have to explain to him why he's in this situation. And I felt that it was a great moment.
Yeah. And let me just pull up this picture, because this was interesting, and this sort of broke the internet, this little moment. So Owen Wilson is talking to that little girl, and then we look at the mural, and It's of the devil, and naturally everyone was like, "Oh my God, Mephisto is coming." What do you think about that? Do you think that's Mephisto?
Yes, obviously, I think it's Mephisto. I really do. I really believe because the way they referenced him, and it makes sense still for WandaVision because they did. I mean, we saw in Agatha's basement, we saw the him in engraved in the walls down there. We did get little hints, the devil's in the details stuff, specifically as it relates to Mephisto, right?
Yeah.
So I felt that that was important, obviously, because that's what the MCU does. They give you little bitty nuggets here and there to lead you down that road. That's where they're going. I mean, I feel like there'll still be hints here for him in the show. We might not see him until a cinematic, but I believe that he's part of the bigger picture moving forward, obviously, because just the history of how the MCU does things. They give you a little bit at a time, to get you ready for that moment.
Hmm.
What do
Yeah.
you think? You don't necessarily agree. What do you think? You said,
I definitely
like
think
you
it's a
don't know.
possibility. I definitely think it's a possibility that it's Mephisto, but I think in the context of like what Owen Wilson was talking to that little girl about, like who did this, and then the little girl points to that mural, and then by the end of the first episode, we find out that there's like a multiversal Loki who's been killing these
Yeah,
people.
yeah. That is
So
true.
I'm
But I
thinking
feel,
maybe the little girl
yeah,
was like, "Oh, this is the devil," but this is
because of the outfit. Because I mean,
yeah,
because like the outfit is very similar. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that Mephisto is in Loki. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, maybe a
But I
couple of
feel
hints,
that that imagery, the fact that we're seeing the imagery within the show is proof that he's coming. But I agree with you that he's not necessarily in the show, that the little girl was probably, she's obviously referring to Lady Loki. But I believe he's coming soon, but not in Loki. I agree with that.
Yeah, probably in Multiverse of Madness or whatever.
Yeah, it makes the most sense for him to come in because it'll be this crazy, chaotic, evil forces that are caught, that have now been unleashed into the world.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he's
Chillmonger.
going to have a connection to Wanda.
Yeah, yeah.
Still.
Chillmonger says, yeah, this is actual proof of Mephisto. It could be. I'm not 100% sold on it being Mephisto, but maybe. It's a literal picture of a devil, so could be him.
Yes, I believe that the imagery exists for a reason, though. So that's why I think he's coming. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I think they're going to set him up.
Yeah, but I would be very, very surprised if Mephisto shows up in Loki. Like,
yeah, me too. I
I don't expect that, but I expect him to come eventually, obviously in the MCU. That, I do expect that very soon. But I feel like we might but Feige says things a lot that to hype up the shows and and everything like that. He hypes up these things, but we're hearing that there's more cameos this time around. So I'm curious, especially, and I'm not like getting my hopes up, obviously, but maybe we'll see Kang the Conqueror just because of the time elements, and maybe there might be a split second where he's there, but possibly not. We know that Jonathan Majors was cast still while they were finishing up the filming for Loki, so there might be a possibility for that because they say that this show is going to tie into the films more. There might be cameos, but there might not be. But I mean, that could be a possibility. And I wonder if Kang has a bigger, overall through line in the MCU than just the Ant-Man M3.
Yeah, I think he's not going to be a one and done in Ant-Man. He's like a phase villain.
Yeah, he is. And then maybe Mephisto is the big bad. I don't know, but then that doesn't. I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll see. What do you think?
I
Who makes
wonder.
sense for you? I know we're getting off topic. I'm sorry, a
No,
little
it's
bit.
cool. I wonder if Kang the Conqueror is going to be like this comedic, funny villain since it's going to be in an Ant-Man movie.
I hope not. I hope it. I hope it keeps some of the elements that I enjoyed from the first Ant-Man movie. You know, with Paul Rudd. But yet, the tone might be a little bit. You know, I mean, it's still going to be funny, but I hope it's not Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know,
Yeah,
that's all.
not too jokey.
Yeah, I mean, like Ant-Man, it's marketed as a family film, but you can have those serious moments still in it, and it still be a family movie. So that's just all I was going to add there. But we'll get back. I'm sorry, I kind of veered you off topic. There.
Superboy says, "Do y'all think when the show ends, will Loki be in Thor: Love and Thunder?" Well, actually, Tom Hiddleston, said himself that he's not going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
But
I mean,
Andrew Garfield
could
also said he wasn't going to be in Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Right. So maybe they have an NDA agreement or whatever. Maybe he's in it, maybe he's not. But I don't know. There have been rumblings of a Loki season 2 before season 1 even premiered. So Tom Hiddleston might stick around for the long run.
I just have a hard time believing that this is Marvel's. He's the most marketable outside of the Avengers. He's a fan favorite. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so many people just love Loki. I have a hard time seeing a Thor movie without Loki, because when you think about all these Thor movies, he's kind of the most solid thing. That's the constant solid. Okay, what's good about Thor: The Dark World, in my opinion, is Loki.
He's the best part.
Yeah, and he's so good in Loki. I mean, I said Loki. He's so good in Thor, the first Thor movie. Thor Ragnarok, I feel like, we infused more Chris Hemsworth, so he shined bigger this time around. But Loki still had a lot of epic moments. So, and I don't know if they will actually do that without him, especially where he's so marketable. He is a big draw, a big sell. He's very important to Thor's story. So, and we know that Thor in Love and Thunder is coming after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And this can make sense why he's back in this world with Thor, right? So, but maybe not. But I believe that he'll be in the movie.
Okay, that's good. The episode was solid. Yeah, I really liked it. I guess the next part that I want to talk about is, well, first, Owen Wilson. I love Owen Wilson. Wait, what? You don't like Owen Wilson?
No, I loved it. I loved Owen Wilson in this show.
I love Owen Wilson. Wedding Crashers, Zoolander, Wonder, everything he's been in. He just seems he's a very likable guy. Yeah. And as Mobius, he made me chuckle quite a few times. I'm so happy he's in the MCU.
At first, I was like, "Oh no, he's gonna be on Loki, so it's gonna be so funny." But he does this thing, and his voice doesn't seem as exaggerated either. I feel like, because when that voice, his wow, that voice that he does, and those. I'm thinking, oh, I hope he doesn't upsell that. He doesn't. It's toned down. His sense of humor is quite dry, at times, and he just says the things matter of factly. It's like he's not attempting to make jokes at times, but yet it's funny, and I think it fits his character. And I talked about it last night. I think at times he outshines Tom Hiddleston in a lot of the scenes, but they have a good chemistry and a good back and forth. I really, really think Owen Wilson is amazing in this show. And we need him more in the MCU. Great stuff.
Yes, hell yeah. I think, I don't know, this is just pure, speculation. I think maybe he might be a villain.
Me too. Oh
I
my
don't know,
gosh,
dude. I
Superwise.
don't know what it is. I
What if
don't
he is?
know
I
what
mean,
it is.
I know this isn't true, but what if he's actually Mephisto?
I was just
I
about to
started
say
thinking,
that.
like,
I was literally just
didn't
gonna
we
say
not
that.
learn from WandaVision? No, I'm just saying. But
Yeah,
no, but
right.
what if he was? I mean, I'm not saying that he is, but just the
Right.
thought. What if he was? I love to speculate because I feel like it hypes me
Yeah.
up for the next episode. And if I'm wrong about my theories, oh, I'm wrong. But I love to think about what can happen next because it really hypes me up for that next episode and I wish we had got 2 episodes of the show.
Oh man,
Uh,
I'm so jealous of the
uh,
people who got the first 2 episodes. I'm like, you
I
damn bastards.
know. I
Oh
am too. It is, yeah, it's so good.
yeah,
It's
and with
really, really good. Go
yeah,
ahead. I'm sorry.
and with the Falcon, with WandaVision, when each episode ended, I couldn't wait to see the next episode because we didn't know what was going on. With
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I actually didn't feel that way. When an episode ended, I was like, oh, that was cool. I'll see the next episode when I get
Yeah.
to it. There wasn't
It,
this immediate like I have to see the next
yeah.
episode.
Yeah. I
Besides
could
that,
wait.
John Walker, when he murdered the dude with the shield, that was the only episode where I was like, I gotta see this.
Yeah. For me, it started feeling like that once we got to episode 4. With Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So yeah, I agree. Once we got past the first 3 episodes for me with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I wanted to see more. But going back into WandaVision, I feel like there's an underlying mystery, like in WandaVision here, right? But I feel like
Yeah.
that they're doing a better job at revealing that and revealing some of these things and not just giving you like half of something and then the next episode giving you half of something. I feel like it's not gonna. I feel like the way that they're going about it with those reveals is better, especially when you compare the reveals that we got in the first episode of WandaVision to here. And I really hope that this time around, with this show, unlike WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that these villains, once we get those reveals for who the bigger villain, overall villain is not so underwhelming either. Because with WandaVision, I feel like we all knew as comic book people from the beginning that she was Agatha Harkness, right? And we
Right.
knew that's why a lot of us thought we know who she is, so there has to be something else, right? That's what my thought process is. I
Yeah.
know that she's Agatha Harkness, and I know that she's not. She's she's bad. She's not necessarily a good guy here. She's a villain. So I thought that we were going to get more, and then in Falcon and Winter Soldier, that power broker moment to me was so weak. That reveal was weak.
Oh.
And I feel like with WandaVision, they waited too long, right? Because people
Yeah.
who didn't know who Agatha Harkness is, they still felt like something was up with her, So I feel like they should have revealed her being a villain sooner. And I feel that the way that they revealed Sharon Carter could have been a little bit more epic or even sooner too.
Yeah.
But the fact that Sharon Carter in general is a power broker, I have a big issue with that. But
Oh,
that has nothing to do with this. But I'm just hoping that once we get to that moment where this is your big bad, this is the villain, that moment is not so underwhelming this time around.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say this. You brought up Agatha Harkness and Power Broker. I gotta address that now. Movie talk with Jake and Chris. Thanks for showing up. Sharon Carter was the worst part of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, in my opinion. That Power Broker reveal was the worst because it's been 5 years, so I get it off screen, but you can't rely on off screen because for us, it's been 5 minutes. It just felt unnecessary. It felt rushed. It felt so unearned. That's Peggy Carter's niece. Yeah, right. And it's just like, wow, so she's evil now. That kind of sucks. It just felt so unearned.
I feel like they did a poor job with Sharon Carter in general in the MCU. I feel like she had that great moment where she was fighting in, Falcon and Winter Soldier, where she had that, nice action sequence. But other than that, I don't feel like she's been developed properly. I feel like a lot of decisions that they made with her, it might have been missteps. And I just feel like this is another misstep. So hopefully they'll retcon that. And it'll be
I
like,
hope
oh,
they
she
do.
was just the face, but Justin Hammer, he's the real power broker. Wouldn't that? I would love that. We need Sam Rockwell back right
Yes, I
now.
watched that stream with you guys
Right
talking
now.
about Sam Rockwell,
Yeah.
and I could not agree more. He needs to come back.
Yes.
He needs to come back and do that dance again.
Oh, like I just like his. I can't like. I'm like, how are the sheer? I can't move my feet like that.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know.
do that.
Every time I
Like
see that dance, I want to try and replicate it.
he. I was like, oh. I mean, Sam Rockwell is amazing in my opinion.
Such
And
a good
even if he
actor.
comes back in Armor Wars, like 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 I
That
could
could be
see,
possible.
the power broker now where they're going to kind of transition into weapons, when Sharon Carter's on the phone. So him being in that show and then being the power broker, like the actual power broker, maybe he does everything and she's the face of it, to me would be great. And I could be like, okay, so she's, the publicist, the spokesperson for the power broker, but she's not actually the power broker. I would really like that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said that she should have been at least like a henchman to the power
Yeah.
broker, because at that point she's not too far gone. Like you could
Yeah.
sort of bring her back to the good side, but now she's like full blown evil, and it was terrible. It was the worst part of that show. And there have been rumors that that whole plot is going to be rewritten for Captain America 4. So hopefully that is true, because that needs
What
to
did
go.
you say? I'm sorry, I was looking at a comment. You said something got rewritten for Captain
Yeah,
America.
the rumor, which there are tons of rumors, but take this as you will.
Yeah,
The rumor
yeah.
is that for Captain America 4, her plot of being evil is going to be like rewritten.
So they might retcon some of that, which would be great.
I hope they do.
I hope they do too. Superwise. Let's keep our fingers crossed that Sharon Carter will have just been the publicist for the power broker, not the actual power broker. Let's call her the publicist right now, in the face, as you will, the spokesperson, right? What something I don't know, but just not the power broker.
Yeah. She's way too underdeveloped. Yeah, especially with that twist. It felt rushed. It felt unearned. It was just I'm tired of the whole we're just kidding.
I feel like they were leading us that way, but I'm sorry, Superwise. I feel like they were leading us that way, but I was like, it's so obvious she can't be the power broker.
Yeah. I just no. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm tired of the. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask you something about Loki, the show. After you.
Oh yeah, let me read these comments and we'll get back to Loki.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm tired of the whole we're just kidding. This is the real version of the character. They need to just write out the silly wave of Sharon Carter being the power broker. Yeah, they dug themselves into a hole. Yeah, Sharon being evil just came out of nowhere. Yeah. Poor Sharon is one of the most mishandled characters in the MCU. Yeah. I can see Hammer trying to influence Riri. Yeah, in that Ironheart show that's coming out. Yeah. I think he just needs to come back in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I think he's such a good actor. They should, use him.
Let's start a petition, Superwise.
Yes, let's start a petition. Superwise, Sam Rockwell was cool as Justin Hammer, even though that character deserves to get beat up all the time. He was funny in Iron Man 2, the ex-wife,
Oh yeah, this is my Eiffel Tower. I love that. Oh gosh, I got you a bird.
Yeah. Sharon Carter shows up, fights, and that's it. No real character development. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I kind of liked where they were going at first, where she was like, I can't go home. I can't see my family because of what the Avengers did to me. Like, you understood where she was coming from, but for her to turn that easy, just, no, man. No. She's the niece of freaking Peggy Carter, and, and then there's Steve Rogers, and it's just like, oh.
You saw your aunt go through crazy hard times, and the things that she went through. Like, you even talked about it at her funeral about her. I mean, and what it was like for her to be in the military and to be in the experience. So if that's your role model, and you talked about how you plant yourself like a tree and you don't move, but as soon as like they treat you in a way like you can't go home, you just like resort to a life of crime. Especially when you were so in line with Steve Rogers. You know, I can understand where now she's like, superheroes are bullshit. Excuse me, Superwise. I'm sorry. But it's still, I mean, I feel like she could have been, you know, despondent, but not evil, you know?
Yeah, not evil. No. I liked her being cynical and upset, but not pure evil. Yeah, because there was actual, like, that was justified. But her turn to villainy was just not believable at all.
Yeah.
It's just rushed, and they need to fix that. Because the majority of people were not on board with that twist. They just said that it felt out of the blue. You know, it's not just one person. It's the whole lot of people who are saying this was bad. You know, and they do need to fix that. Let's read a couple more comments before we move on. Let's see. Let's see. Hello, Superwise. I enjoyed Loki, but the show does feel like Legends of Tomorrow. It's like Loki crossed over to DC. Yeah, I've given Legends of Tomorrow a chance, but I'm not, you know, I pretty much hate the entire Arrowverse except for Superman and Lois, which a new episode came out today. I got to get on that, even though I don't review the show anymore because I just feel like I don't have much to say about it. But are you caught up on Superman and Lois?
No, I'm now on episode 5.
Oh, you need to catch yourself up. There's a big twist.
I know. I'm going to very soon.
Superwise, when you fuse Legends of Tomorrow with Loki, you have my attention. Kevin Feige is not subtle with this show. I see you, Kevin. Yeah, I think, you know, with Loki, it's very similar. Very similar to WandaVision, where, you know, you don't know what's going on. You can't wait to watch this next episode, and it's goofy and weird, and it's just, you know, and it's also written by the guy who writes Rick and Morty, which that show is so funny and weird, and I got Rick and Morty vibes here. I just watched episode 6 yesterday. Enjoying it so far. I assume you're talking about Superman and Lois. Yeah, it's actually a good show. The fact that it comes from the CW, just, you know, wow. Superwise, sometimes in life, time travel happens and you get called out for it. Yeah. Superman and Lois is great, but very few humans talk about it. It's worth talking about. Hell yeah, it's worth talking about. That's a good show, but since it's associated with the CW, a lot of people just don't want to touch it. Like, I didn't want to touch it, and then I luckily gave it a chance, and I was like, you know what? Yes. And then, so we talked about Power Broker, and then with Agatha Harkness, real quick. You know, I liked Catherine Hahn, like, in the role. I thought she was very, you know, goofy, very funny, very comedic. But the character herself, it's just, I didn't believe the turn. You know, it was very, very subtle that she was behind it all. You know, these little hints. For me, it came out of nowhere. Even though I knew it was Agatha Harkness, I had a hunch. It felt just out of nowhere. And, you know, her reasoning for wanting to be evil and to hurt Wanda and her family, I just didn't feel justified to me. She's evil for the sake of being evil. She wasn't written well, but she might be coming back in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Maybe they can flesh her out more.
I will say, I found that her wanting to harness that power was believable. And like those little bitty things, like throughout those little bit each episode when something would go wrong, I mean, I thought that it was Agatha doing those things, but I thought she was doing it in service of Mephisto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so especially, I mean, the one thing that really got me is like when her and Vision, all right, was it episode 5, are having that disagreement, and then the door, and then and he's like trying to reason with her to end all this, and she's almost thinks about it, and then who comes to the door? Her brother. I it was like, that's not Quicksilver. That and I really thought he could possibly be Mephisto, because it's like, why are you using Evan Peters in this show? If you know, so I didn't think he was just some lame duck. I thought he was either her familiar or Mephisto, or but that was me expecting a lot from the first MCU show, and now I've tempered my expectations a lot. But I really thought that she was doing it. It was just the timing and how long it took for that reveal to happen. And then episode 9 was so, I felt like the finale was weak. It was kind of weak. And I think it was weak because of the decisions they had decided, the decisions that Catherine Hahn might have made, or the writing or the directing. A lot of the Catherine Hahn, not writing or directing decisions that were made, that just seemed silly with her character. But I didn't mind her throughout the show, though.
Yeah, I didn't mind her. I thought Catherine's charm made up for lack of development. Yeah, she had charm, and I like that charm, but it's not enough for me to overlook the obvious flaws of her character. I just wish she was well written. John Walker was fleshed out pretty well. Who else was, Loki in this episode, which we'll get to, was fleshed out really well in the first episode. I think the finale nailed the emotional arc, Wanda letting go of Vision and the kids. Yeah, I understand a lot of people who say the finale was weak. I honestly didn't feel like we needed that big Vision v. Vision, Wanda v. Agatha fight. I honestly thought, it could end a little more, like, I didn't need a big, full-blown MCU battle for me to be satisfied. What I love about WandaVision, I love the show. A lot of people, had their theories and then use their theories as an excuse. Like, when their theories didn't come true, they hate the show for it unfairly. I think it was a great show. I love that show, and the ending was great. I teared up when Wanda finally sacrificed Vision and her kids. I love that moment, and that, the show was never about Doctor Strange showing up or Tobey Maguire showing up, or Wolverine. It was about Wanda's grief and her, just sacrificing and letting go of that pain. And I thought it was really well done. Even though in Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness, that sacrifice is probably going to be all for nothing, since the kids might be back, which pisses me off. I hate that. It's pretty much all for nothing, but we'll see.
I would say I don't think it was weak because of how it ended. Because when I'm saying it's weak, I thought it was, weak in the sense that, she was shown how to access the ruins and was able to do it. I thought it was weak because I don't know where White Vision is, but the emotional beats, this show nailed all of those emotional beats for me. Yeah. So, and I overall liked the show. I really liked WandaVision. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've always liked Wanda. I've always been able to connect with her. I understand her grief in that moment. Episode 8 to me was such an emotional roller coaster of an episode. And then episode 9 is very good. It's not weak because of the simple story about what grief and what grief can cause. It's about Ralph Boner. It's about these other things that make it weak. But the overall emotional arc of the story, no, I was very connected and very invested in that part of the story.
Yeah, that's totally fair. The people who, the people who theorize that Mephisto was going to be the big villain, and then they get mad because it didn't happen. And, like, Marvel Studios never promised you Mephisto. Like, don't hate on the show because your theories didn't come true.
Exactly.
If you have to hate on the show, hate on it for what it is. Judge it for what it is fairly. Superwise, out of the 3 shows, my ranking is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and WandaVision. Yeah, that's fair. Falcon and Winter Soldier was had some of the best MCU action. I love that hand to hand combat stuff. Um, yeah, I prefer WandaVision more, but yes, I do enjoy Falcon and Winter Soldier. And with Loki, the way it's going, right now, I would not be surprised if Loki is my favorite show out of all three. We will see, though. Yeah, Ralph Boner was the worst part of WandaVision. Yeah, I just, oh God, had an opportunity to bring one of the best parts of the Fox X-Men movies over to the MCU, and I mean, maybe it could happen, but yeah, Ralph Boner, I mean, who came
Yeah.
up with that? That is just awful.
Wow, he's already put Loki #1 after one episode. Wow.
Wow.
Sorry.
I mean, you know what? I really enjoyed that episode.
Me too,
Loki so
though.
far, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah,
I
I really like Loki. For me, it's too soon for me to definitively put it above any of the other two shows. I got to be at least 3 episodes in to, figure that out. But yeah, Loki is on a great track. Yeah, sometimes the MCU's tendency to bring back dead characters really bothers me, and sometimes I love it. Yeah, the Disney has a problem letting go because I guess Chris Evans is in talks to come back as Captain America, even though his arc ended beautifully. Um, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., he's the moneymaker. I'm sure he'll make an appearance in maybe Ironheart or something. So I just think that they need to move on. With Loki, yeah, the sacrifice in Infinity War. I get the people who are like, why do we need this show? It undermines the sacrifice. But there's a certain scene that we'll get to, which I really like, that makes me say, you know what? You know, I'm cool with Tom Hiddleston coming back as Loki because there's something more to be explored. Superwise, I like WandaVision, but they didn't deliver on the Quicksilver White Vision or the overall final segments of the show. Despite a lot of wasted opportunities, the show was fun. I didn't like the first 3 episodes, but yeah, I get you. It was definitely a special show. It was so outside of the box, so unique, so different. Not your typical MCU. That's why I love it. But I could see a lot of people not loving it for that reason. I think at times the storytelling will grow stale in the MCU, so they'll start to bring back dead characters. They got to be careful with that. Don't repeat things just for the fans. Yeah, I'm afraid of that. The MCU can't go on forever. I wonder when it's going to end. That's a very interesting question that I've never really asked myself. Are they going to reboot the universe, or are they going to just continue into the years? It's going to be interesting. Let's see here. Wanda's kids are going to come back. They do come back later in the comics through reincarnation stuff. Sometimes in life, death doesn't matter in the MCU. Yeah, I'm going to hate that. That sacrifice I got teary-eyed. That was beautiful. How the kids were going to sleep thinking they'll see another day, but in reality, they're going to be gone. Like, that's heartbreaking. And, that's what I mean about Disney and Marvel not knowing when to stop. Death has to mean something. Let's see here. A couple more comments, and then we'll continue with Loki. Do you guys think Agatha will forever have an issue with Wanda? That's a good question. Agatha just wants to harness Wanda's power, but I'm sure, if they flesh her out, make her a little more human, I think, like with Agatha, she says that you're going to need me, hinting that she'll be back in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. Maybe they can develop that relationship, see how that goes. I don't know. Superwise, when I speak with you, what will be the focus point of the discussion? I can speak about anything, especially in relation to comic book material, even with many things outside of that. I'm not much of a streamer, but I can easily talk forever without running out of things to say. Ashley can say positive things about me, even though she abandoned me.
How did I abandon you?
How dare you, Ashley?
No.
Terrence, yeah. listen, we might be getting a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer tomorrow or Friday. I'm hoping.
Oh my
But yeah,
God.
you're invited to come for the next stream. You know, I don't have like a predetermined topic. It's just like movie news, and then maybe Loki episode 2, episode 3, like episodic reviews live. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see about that trailer tomorrow. I need some new exciting content to be excited about. I need to see my freaking Toby. Okay, every stream I gotta say that.
I need to see my Tom Holland.
Oh, get out of here. Guys,
I'm
in
getting
the live
kicked.
chat, she said Spider-Man Far From Home is a better movie than Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2. What type of blasphemy is that? I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Superwise, I'm not going to lie. I clapped when Wanda's kids died. I was like, good. Time to move on, Wanda. Stuff messing up because your heart is in pain. I was like, someone needs to check her. I wasn't clapping when the kids died. I wasn't over the moon about the kids, but I thought they were cute, and the sacrifice scene was touching, and now it's going to be ruined in Multiverse of Madness if they come back.
I have a point on that. I don't think it's ruined. I
Really?
think that grief is messy. Grief is messy, right?
Mm.
And you can accept that in one moment and then find yourself back in that painful situation and will do anything to gain that again. So I feel like she was willing to let her children and Vision go, to let those people go, right? It wasn't about saying goodbye to them and not being with her family. It was about, I did this out of my own grief, and then as a result I entrapped these people. So it was about like she had to do what was right to let these people go, but she was never at any point ready to let go of her children and her Vision. That's how I see it.
That's fair. That's fair. I just hope it's handled. I hope it's for a reason, a good reason, a good purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Expect Wicked and Speed to be recast. Yeah, it seems like they're maybe setting up Young Avengers with Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel. You have Stature in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. You got Spider-Man. Yeah, Young Avengers seems to be in the works. Who knows? We already know Avengers. Kevin Feige confirmed Avengers 5 is happening. When is it going to happen is the question. Bringing the kids back can be good or bad depending on how they execute it. Yeah, for sure. The saddest part of WandaVision was when Vision faded away. Grief is no excuse to do terrible things. She's an Avenger. Sometimes in life you got to let go of things that are fake. Yeah, I love that. I love that scene where he says like "goodbye, my darling" or something like that. I teared up because I was genuinely sad. But then you have White Vision, who's out and about somewhere. I think it would have been better if there was no White Vision. I think it would have been better if Paul Bettany just died in that moment and he was gone. But again, Marvel doesn't like to let go of things. And I really like Paul Bettany. I'd love to see him stick around. But, I feel like it would have, the death, the sacrifice of fake Vision would have been more powerful if it was really, if he really was gone in that moment. But, Kamala isn't a young Avenger in 616. That could be an MCU rewrite. Yeah, the MCU isn't that comic book accurate. They're accurate about some things, but Feige works around certain things. I mean, Civil War wasn't even Civil War, besides a couple loose things. So who knows? I mean, if it's a young person, then they qualify for a young Avenger, basically. I read that Superwise actually is cool, but she never abandoned me. But that might be free. That might be free in a different timeline. The other Ashley left me out cold. I was trying to reach out. I was trying to reach out to Ashley, like how Flash was trying to reach out to Batman, but I was met with an alternate timeline. There are multiple Terrences because of Ashley.
What did I do, parents?
You
I
created
don't
the
know.
multiverse. That's what you did.
Yeah, I
Uh,
did.
yeah, I
I
think.
switch.
Okay, good. We got through all of those comments. Keep them coming. I do like to read them. But yes, let's get back to the focus of this entire conversation, which was Loki. Um,
Yeah. I'll make sure I don't veer it off topic. I promise.
no, it
I'm
was still a
sorry.
good conversation. Still good conversation. But yes, Owen Wilson. Love Owen Wilson. I think he's great. I can't wait to see him in the MCU more. And I really like. I mean that entire scene with Owen Wilson, Mobius, and Loki sitting down together, and they're recapping. They're just talking about why um, Loki is who he is, and Tom Hiddleston is he's not complying. He doesn't want to give in. He doesn't want to admit his true feelings. And my favorite scene in the entire episode, which I thought it was an amazing scene, is when Loki, he
Mm.
he went back into that room and he sat down and he scrolled through the future of what his life was like when he saw his mother die, when he saw him befriending Thor. It was such a great scene. Tom Hiddleston was so great in that moment. Him realizing that he's not all bad, but his future is his future is good. And then I flinched when I heard Thanos snap his neck through that hologram. I was like, oh my god. And then Tom Hiddleston's reaction, it was really great. What was your reaction to that scene? That was my favorite scene of the entire episode.
And my favorite scene, and my favorite part of that sequence is when he discovers that it was because of him that his mother died.
Yeah,
Um, that was a powerful moment because
it
to
was.
me, the one of the best moments in Thor 2 is that interaction with him and his mother when she's like, you have to change, basically. And the one person that had always, believed in him kind of was like, you can't do this anymore, kind of was, extremely disappointed in him. And then the fact that she never gets to see him, you know, have that redemption arc and to be a better person, is sad in general. But then him also discovering that it's because of him that she died, that was a powerful moment. And then, him seeing himself reconcile with his father, all of that stuff was very compelling for
It was
me.
it was a beautiful scene, man. It was truly a
Yeah.
great scene. And I love the second half of that scene
Hmm.
where Owen Wilson is keep on egging him on. He's like, "Why do you like hurting people? Do you like hurting people?" And then Loki has this great moment where he shows his humanity, how he's not all bad. He's like, "I don't like hurting people. I am weak, and I use illusions to inspire fear in others." How he just admits that he's weak and that he uses his illusions to make himself feel better, to make himself feel powerful. Like, it was such a great moment. And that's when I was
Hmm.
sold on this whole Loki show. How he had the sacrifice in Infinity War, but there's stuff to be explored with this
Yeah.
2012 version. What's going through his head? I found it incredibly fascinating, incredibly profound, and I really did love it. I really did.
I did
Yes,
too. And I
yes,
was one
Jake.
of those
That
people.
scene was amazing.
I was one of
Yeah,
those
go ahead,
people
Ashley.
that was like, I was one of those people that said, I don't want to see a Loki show. He's dead. I said
Mm.
that, right? I said it several times. And then when I saw this, I thought the same thing. Well, there's more to explore here. And I thought it was also another moment that I felt that I really, really liked. Also, when he was like, so I can't go back to my time. In
Yeah.
him realizing he can't go back in that moment was sad. I mean, it wasn't as big as the others, but just that moment
Hmm.
also, I was like, oh, and that just kind of, you could tell when he said that and he realized he couldn't go back home, that he was heartbroken. He wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to try to live this new life with his family and with the people of Asgard. So I thought it was, and I also always love that moment when Thor tells him, "You've always been the god of mischief, brother, but you could be so much more." I love
Yeah, I
hearing that
love that
again.
line.
I love that line. I love it.
Yeah,
And I was glad that we got to see that again, because he also got to see that his brother always loved him and always believed him, always did. It was just
yeah.
blind
Never
jealousy that
gave up
caused
on him.
issues. Never gave up on him. And I
Yeah.
think that was important for him to see. I just all love it. It
It's
was really good.
truly beautiful. When the MCU has these emotional moments, they hit. It's truly heartfelt. I get teary-eyed at these things because it's so well written. It's so well done. And Jake, hits it right on top of the head. I love how Loki is just a broken person behind the facade.
Mm-hmm.
His character is just so layered, and I love it. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for more of this character exploration in the remaining 5 episodes. It's just so incredible. I didn't think we'd be getting this emotional moment in the first episode. I thought maybe that they would have built up that moment, but no, they just shoved it right in our faces, and it hurt, man. It hurt. Yeah, when he accepts that he can't go back. So
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
yeah.
it's so good. Yeah. Loki, I can't go back to my timeline. Terrence, no, you messed up the timeline. I'm gonna reset you 50 times. Yeah, you know what? I Michael Waldron has signed on for a Loki season 2. Whether that happens or not is up to Disney. Disney. But I feel like that Loki is not going to die or perish by the end of this first season. I think, my theory is maybe if he actually joins the TVA, he will, maybe the timeline will be preserved. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I don't know. I just feel like he's not going to die at the end of this show because they're going to do a season 2 more than likely. How he is going to not break the timeline is going to be interesting. Or maybe he stays alive and that does break the timeline and that causes the multiverse of madness. Who knows? Whoa, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's just a hunch that I have. Loki joining the TVA would be a really cool twist. Yeah, I like that idea. Would it make sense? I don't know, but
I think
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it wouldn't make sense right now, but I think that they can make that make sense, especially him working alongside Owen Wilson and the fact that he is quite powerful himself, and that and Loki is very smart, so I feel that he could be with the TVA. Especially now that he's learning about time and he's already, I feel like it could work. But I don't know if it will. I don't know if they'll do that, but
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
don't know.
I know that
This
I don't.
clearly sets up the multiverse.
I'm
Yeah,
excited to see Lady Loki now and make possibly Kid
Loki.
Loki. I just don't want it to be like, oh, now Tom Hiddleston's gone bye-bye and he's only on the show and there's a Kid Loki in the movies or I don't want that. Because I remember they hinted about something about that a long time ago.
We will get to that ending scene in a second. Loki is a goofy show, but it does have some emotional moments. Yeah, I can't wait for more character development. I don't need action to keep me satisfied. I'm so if I'm invested in the characters, I can't wait to learn more about them. That's why I love WandaVision, because every episode for the most part didn't have this big action scene. It was a character study. I love that philosophical character study stuff, and Loki killed it in this first episode. Awesome. Superwise, how'd you get that screenshot? Disney Plus is supposed to restrict that. Well, I mean, it's on Google. I just pull up Google. Let's see here. Loki joining the TVA is so crazy. It made my head hurt, but it was still fun. Um, Loki will die at the end of season 1 and come back in the end credits. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. Death for the most part doesn't have that much of a weight in the MCU. Uh, but we'll see. As much as I love the action and storylines, the characters are what what makes me love the MCU. Yeah,
me too.
For sure, man. I love Steve Rogers, not because he has a badass shield. I just love the character himself. Tony Stark, so layered. It's just great. MCU really thrives, really thrives. Marvel is delivering on the character stuff, which I love. Yeah, man. I can't wait for more of Loki. Get to find out more about him. Hey guys, sorry I couldn't join. We are crazy busy at the moment. Yeah, I get you, man. I get you, man. Work comes first. Who cares about this nerd stuff? You need to get paid.
Yeah.
You need to make a living. But might be a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer either tomorrow or Friday. So got to keep in contact with you guys. See if we talk about that. Let's see. Superwise Loki makes me think about all the timelines I messed up. Granted, most of that is Ashley's fault, but one must move forward. What's interesting is like, what if there's a real life multiverse? Just like, what if Ashley is like, I don't know, Supergirl in another universe? Who knows? It's just crazy to think alternate versions of yourself.
I'm actually a Nexus being, so.
Oh man, that's fascinating. That's what's interesting about the multiverse, just these different versions and stuff.
And we did see. Okay, I'm sorry, you got another comment.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like I liked how in the commercial in WandaVision they talk about Nexus, and we obviously know she's a Nexus being, and then we hear in Loki, then again they bring up Nexus. So I feel that is even more set up for her and Doctor Strange being these Nexus beings that they don't change, because Doctor Strange is also a Nexus being. So it'll be curious to see if they do that, within the context of the MCU with Doctor Strange. Obviously, they're going to do it with Wanda.
Let's be real. Most of these characters are badass and better than most humans, as most humans have to be paid to be half as great. These characters just do because it feels right. Listen, Falcon doesn't get paid as an Avenger. That was interesting. From Falcon to the Winter Soldier, how they don't get paid. Just that little line was pretty interesting. There was a multiverse, but I destroyed it to make sure the humans didn't find out about it. Damn. Maybe there was. Okay, so now that we got all of that out of the way, let me pull up this picture. I'm trying to think of any more scenes that I want to talk about. Oh, I little side bit. I like that DB Cooper scene. That was pretty funny.
I just feel like it was not needed. But
did it really contribute?
And I didn't understand why Thor. I mean, I know they were younger, but
he lost a bet, I think.
And he lost the bet. I'm like, I know he lost the bet, but why would Thor send you to Earth to act like you're gonna rob a bank, and then to act like you're gonna hurt people on a plane when it's his job to protect Earth? Even though I know he's younger, it just seems silly. and we know from Loki, at the end of Loki, and then going into Avengers, he had never been to Earth before. So,
wow, Ashley's got mega brain over here.
And then also, I have my big issue with this show was the Infinity Stones in the drawer.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that part. What was going on there?
I mean, okay, I understand that maybe the TVA, I understand that TVA, they are OP. They're OP.
Right.
You can't use your powers there. The Infinity Stones for them don't mean anything. They're just like paperweights, right?
That was a funny line.
So they're so powerful. But what doesn't make sense to me is all that explanation and all that convoluted time travel that we got in Endgame. That if you remove an Infinity Stone from a reality and you don't return it, you cause a branch reality, which then in turn brings dark forces in. So you're telling me you have a drawer full of Infinity Stones where people had gone back and altered the flow of time, and you have not returned those stones back to those specific timelines, and you are the time variance. So you're cool with all these branch realities existing, and this is a show about how someone is messing with the flow of time. It doesn't make sense in my mind.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're
That
coming
was just
from
my
on that.
quick example. Like I had a long discussion about that specific thing for about 15, 20 minutes last night. But that's just saying, like, how, I mean, so why is it okay for them to be in the drawer and not have to be put back? You know what I mean? It just,
Yeah, I do get what you're coming from. Yeah, I do get where you're coming from. Chillmonger says,
I know. And so I'm saying none of it makes sense.
that DB
Maybe
Cooper
they can
scene contributed to
automatically
the
push a
kill.
button. Maybe they can that's the significance of it, Chillmonger. Maybe they can push a button and you don't, they can just fix it. But like, they're not telling us why these stones don't need to be there. Just because they're the TVA, is it not enough explanation to why it's okay for those stones to be in the drawer? Is what I'm saying,
But
and
the
why they don't have to
TVA
turn.
didn't need to return the Tesseract.
I know,
Yeah,
and I'm
there
saying
are there are
the
always
Tesseract
these
and
little
the
plot
stones.
holes that you could no, when you're dealing with the multiverse, there are always these little plot holes. Like Endgame has a lot of holes that you just sort of have to like jump over and just accept. So yeah, I'm confused about some of this time travel stuff. Yeah,
Because it's so
this is
convoluted.
yeah. Superwise. There are plot holes in Loki because we're not supposed to ask questions. Just like Hulk thought he had it all figured out in Endgame until the Ancient One checked him. Yeah, you know, some of these things you just gotta ignore, just not try to think about. Let's see if I can pull this one up. Computer is really slow. The only thing about the Infinity Stones is that they don't work outside the Marvel Universe, but in the Marvel Universe, they should work. Eternity was able to make the stones useless. Man, my computer is slow. Yeah, because this message is still up and it's not going down. But yeah, the harder I think about it, the more confused I get. I'm just going along for the ride and not think too hard about it. Yeah, that's me too.
My thing is I overanalyze and I overthink things. Like I wrote a 50-page paper about WandaVision. Like I literally said, that's where my mind is always like in general, and my overthinking brain sometimes does me service when it comes to nerd stuff because I'm honestly like questioning and trying to figure out, oh, if this happens and this, like, so that's me. Like I wish I could not overthink it, but I just love it so much that my brain is always like
Time travel
thinking
wrecks my
about
brain.
all these different things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this
definitely
version of
get you.
time travel definitely wrecks your brain because it's a mess.
Superwise, the good thing about Legends of Tomorrow, if nothing else is, they handle time travel really well as they break down every single corner of what it all means. You have to explain a lot. Yeah, I need more explanation. Yeah, I do too. But it's not something that I'm not going to harp on it too much because this is like fake. This movie nerd stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
definite
love it.
plot holes. It is what it is basically. But I guess the natural next point that we got to talk about. Let me pull up a picture. Give me a second. The next thing that we got to talk about, and it's a good question, is Who is this mysterious hooded figure at the end of episode 1? There are a lot of theories out there on who it could be. Do you have any theories, Ashley?
Important is Black Widow. No, I'm just joking.
Of course, it's Black Widow.
Because everybody in the, I'm pretty sure it's Lady Loki here.
Yeah,
But
I would have to agree.
But I was making a joke because everybody thought that was Black Widow in that trailer, and I was like, that's not Black
with the
Widow,
blonde hair. Yeah,
yeah.
I believe it's Lady Loki too, because Owen Wilson was like, "Oh, we're hunting you," and that's supposed to be like a joke because it's like a multiverse version. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking Lady Loki. Maybe, I don't know. This might be a little bit of a stretch.
Silhouette to me.
What was that?
It looks like a female silhouette when you look at it. It's hard right there in that picture to really tell, but like when you're looking at it, it does remind me of a female silhouette when you see it, as it moves, as you're playing it in the show. Because I looked at it like 4 or 5 times. I'm pretty sure it's a female.
Yeah. This might be a bit of a stretch. Maybe it's Mephisto. Who knows? Maybe. I mean, anything can happen. Yeah, I'm 99% sure it's Lady Loki. Pretty sure they cast Lady Loki. I don't know the actress's name, but I'm maybe.
Yeah, I remember when the news came out, and it was like, and when we saw her, did you see those pictures? That picture of her on set.
No, I released.
Didn't. I had to stop like after a while, like looking at like these leaks because like pictures and stuff, because it like gives you information. But
Sophia
her suit,
yes,
Sophia DiMartino.
Let me look at this because I don't.
Her suit, like the leaked picture, it looks it looks like Loki's suit. It's got the green, it's got the same colors. It looks like a female version of Loki's suit, basically.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I remember this picture. I'll pull it up. Yeah. It's sort of like the Ragnarok suit a little bit.
Yeah, and it looked like, and at first they were trying to say she was possibly somebody else, and then it was like, no, she's more than likely Lady Loki.
Maybe someone part of the TVA. Maybe.
It doesn't. Does it look like the TVA suits?
I don't know. Let me pull up TVA Loki.
I'm trying to think. It didn't really. I mean, from the show, it didn't look.
Yeah, the TVA suits don't have like the arch on the chest. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. So I don't know. Could be Lady Loki, or I don't know, maybe Enchantress. Loki's sort of confidant in the comics, maybe. Tom Hiddleston once pitched a Loki Enchantress storyline to Marvel, so I don't know, maybe. I saw these set pictures. Yeah, I'm sure it's Lady Loki. Yeah, and Chillmonger says, oh, not Chillmonger, Tony Robinson says, if it's a Lady Loki, that would be interesting. Yeah, I think that could be interesting. Multiversal version. Like what's up with her in her universe. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff you can explore there. Let's see, Superwise. It's the Green Goblin from the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. That doesn't look like Willem Dafoe, but you know what? Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, I'd love to see a Lady Loki. That could be cool. It could really be cool. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with that. Let's see. Any more comments? I think Richard. That's a good. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, Richard E. Grant from Logan and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. He's in this movie. He's in this show. Yeah, I don't know who he's going to be playing, but yeah, I think you're right. He could maybe be playing Old Man Loki. We'll just have to wait and see about that. But this whole multiverse thing is pretty interesting. Seeing different versions and seeing how it's gonna affect the rest of the MCU, because Kevin Feige himself said that this show is going to have like a huge impact on the MCU. So that could be interesting. He's literally perfect casting as an older Loki. Yeah, just look at his face. I could see it. Actually, what do you think about Richard E. Grant possibly playing an old man Loki?
Richard E. Grant. I'm trying to think of who that is.
He's from Logan, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker.
I still can't pit. Sometimes I'm bad with names. Let me look.
Here, let me pull up his picture. Let's
I'm
see.
really bad with names.
Yeah, literally, I definitely see him as an old man Loki. Let me pull this up. Let me get the right picture. This is a good picture. So yeah, let's use this one. This is Richard E. Grant.
Oh yeah.
Do you see him as an old man Loki?
I can see it. Yeah, I can see that
easily, right?
Yeah.
Jack Veal was rumored to be in this show as Kid Loki. Let me look at.
I remember that. I don't remember who. I remember that when that rumor came out about a specific.
Yeah, Kid Loki could be really cool too. Okay, let me see him here.
I know, but like, if I'm gonna have Loki, outside of this show, though, I don't want just. I'd rather have the Loki we have, because I know that at one point they were talking about how after the show that the Loki we might see might be.
It might be a different Loki.
Yeah, it might be Lady Loki or Kid Loki.
Yeah, but everyone wants Tom Hiddleston. If there's gonna be a Loki, it's got to be Tom Hiddleston. I mean, he has that star power, that likable quality. Everyone, loves his Loki. So it'd be kind of weird to say, you know what? Screw Tom Hiddleston. We're gonna make Kid Loki the new canon Loki in this universe. That's weird. That's weird.
Or even Lady Loki. Like, I understand that you're trying to be more diverse, but it's like, don't cut out all the male characters just to bring female characters in and them still be just versions. I don't want all that.
Right. Yeah, because you already have Miss Marvel. You have Miss Marvel, who's kind of a copy, just like a name only Captain Marvel. You have Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. You got Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. You got Stature, Ant-Man. You got Riri Williams, Iron Man. Like, this is absurd. How many female characters are just kind of just like copies in name only of the male characters? That'll be interesting.
That is very true. Very.
And Shuri, Black Panther. Who knows about that? If it's not
on top of like Nebula, Gamora, and all the other females that already exist. You know what I mean? It's just like
Pepper, Rescue Iron Man. I think she's done. She said that she would do a cameo. But yeah, Superwise. If it's not Tom Hiddleston, I'm punching my screen.
Exactly.
No one wants to see a Kid Loki or female Loki over Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, like I'm open to seeing a Kid Loki or female Loki in the show, but they can't, strip away Tom Hiddleston's mantle and be the canon Loki. I'm way more excited for Kate Bishop than the rest. Yeah, Haley Steinfeld. I love that casting. And the Hawkeye show in general, I think, is going to be kind of emotional.
I think it's going to be the best.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, yeah, I think because the cast is amazing.
Yeah, and even with the story with Jeremy Renner, he's going to go deaf, and he's going to have to pass down this mantle to Haley Steinfeld. I think there's an emotional aspect that could work.
And they're also going to explore his time as Ronin more. So
yeah, that's cool.
And then him also dealing with the loss of Natasha in the show, and gaining his family back. Is that going to be a weird experience for him? I don't know. It's just, but I think that the overall and the comic book that it's based off of is such a
Right.
great run. It's just, I've been trying not to tell people because sometimes people don't know. So, but yeah, the fact that we see him with that hearing aid, I was really hyped about that. Really, really
Yeah,
hyped
and
because
what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh yeah, Jake says I'm excited to learn about Echo too. I am excited to learn about Echo. Not only that, but Echo in the comics is a villain to Daredevil. So maybe we get a Charlie Cox Daredevil appearance in here, which would break the internet, which would be amazing.
which would make the show like it'd be like, oh, you're an MCU show, sit down, because like Hawkeye would be the king and nothing could compare at that point. I think.
Yeah, and Echo, we cannot forget Echo is getting her own Disney Plus series.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was like slipped into a variety
that.
thing, and it, no one's talking about it. So
All these shows,
hopefully she's
man.
written well, because I don't want to see a show about a character that I'm not too fond of, or who I think is kind of bland. But she's a deaf superhero. There's interesting stuff to be explored here. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, that's a spinoff that's happening. I'm actually like 75% sure Charlie Cox will be in Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, dude, Kevin Feige has teased several times that Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil. He at Disney Investor Day, he did this really sly thing. He was talking about She-Hulk, and then he was like, in She-Hulk, she's not the only superhero lawyer. Wink, wink. I mean,
I know.
Daredevil is like the number one person that everyone knows as the superhero lawyer. And then, several interviews Kevin Feige has done with talking about the Netflix Marvel stuff. And he said in the past that, yeah, I consider everything to be Marvel canon, and we'll see, basically. So, yeah, I love that show, that Daredevil show. It's in my opinion, by far the best superhero show to ever release. I think it is the best one. So many great plot points, action wise, it's amazing. And John Bernthal as Punisher, I hope he returns. I mean, yeah, I really hope that some of the, like, I could do without Iron Fist. I think you could reboot Iron Fist.
Yeah,
you
definitely
can reboot Luke Cage. I know some people like Luke Cage. I wish he was a little more taller, a little more buffer, bigger. You can throw away Jessica Jones. I never liked Jessica Jones.
Vincent, is a character you don't like Jessica Jones, or you don't like Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones?
I just don't like the show in general. I think you could do stuff with the character that's pretty interesting, but it's just Vincent D'Onofrio, I wish he was a little taller, a little buffer, like the comics Kingpin, but his Kingpin, he's a layered character. He's well written, and yeah, seeing Daredevil and Spider-Man interact with this Kingpin, I think it really, really cool possibilities. Daredevil being in the show would take the spotlight from all those characters because he's just a good character. Yeah, that's like John Krasinski showing up as Mr. Fantastic in WandaVision, which was one of the theories about the aerospace engineer. That would have just broken the internet. He would have stole the show. The surprise, like Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian season 2 finale, he stole the show. So that could be the same with Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Charlie Cox will show up near the beginning of the film as Peter's lawyer. Matt Murdock has a lot more stories to tell. However, I'm going to miss the grittiness of the Daredevil show. That's what I'm worried about, because that Daredevil show was very much rated R. And you could do Daredevil PG-13, but I want some of that grittiness to be there. Yeah, go ahead.
To be fair, Falcon the Winter Soldier was TV-14.
Yes, that's also a good point I was going to get to. Moon Knight. Moon Knight. You have Oscar Isaac slitting throats in that fight choreography, and you got John Walker bashing that dude's brains in. So Disney can go darker, and I hope they do that with Daredevil. I hope they do that with Blade. I just hope they go a little darker,
I feel like that maybe they're going that way a little bit.
Hmm.
I mean, WandaVision was still light, but it had dark moments.
Yeah,
The underbelly. It was dark. Falcon and Winter Soldier. I enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier more. I felt like the story was just better, all an overall, cohesive story
I
in
get that.
Falcon and
Yeah,
Winter Soldier. And they went there and they had those dark moments. We didn't see the blood splattering everywhere, but we saw that shield covered in blood, and we saw John Walker deal with, PTSD and just descent into to darkness even more. As the show progressed.
yeah,
Um, so I feel like they're willing to take those steps. And even in Loki, yeah, we got these funny moments, but the tone was quite, heavy at times in the show.
it,
So
yeah,
I think they might tone down some of that jokiness in specific films, just because, a lot of people have said, oh, they're too jokey. And I feel like that they
right.
might be shifting that tone a bit, but not in every property though.
Yeah, not
Is all I
every
was gonna
property
say.
has to be lighthearted. Not every property has to be dark. Um, yeah, and also I think the executive producer of Loki said that the show as a whole is influenced by David Fincher, which I really like. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
I could fully see that in the first episode, but I guess stylistically, maybe tonally, I could see a little Fincher. And I love David Fincher as a director, so hell yeah. That's if you're gonna take inspiration from anybody, David Fincher, that's the guy. Um, Kevin Feige will tweak the characters from Marvel TV as he had nothing to do with those shows. Yeah, it's also a tricky slope because you have Mahershala Ali as Blade, but he was what, Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's just gonna ignore, like he's gonna bring Daredevil. He's gonna maybe bring in Punisher. That's it. And then he's just gonna ignore the rest. Um,
Mm-hmm. And the multiverse is a good way to possibly explain it.
Yeah,
You
that could be it too. Even though in the actual Daredevil show, that in the first season they referenced Captain America, they referenced the Battle of New York a lot. There are the newspaper clippings, so it seems like that first season was in like the
It
MCU
was
proper.
MCU adjacent.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I call it.
um,
They could reference the MCU, but the MCU never referenced,
yeah, exactly.
these
Which I
characters.
think they're gonna do with the Venomverse and Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
oh, you know what's also a good point? How Agents of Shield, that show, which I didn't really like. It's probably not canon.
Yeah, it's
Because
not.
my question was when they showed Coulson being killed in that Loki episode, I thought maybe they would acknowledge Agents of Shield, like maybe they might acknowledge the future, but no, like canon in the MCU, they're saying nope, he died.
Yeah,
Um,
especially when you think about the press release. I'm sorry I cut you off again. I'm so bad.
no, go ahead.
Um, when that press release, Feige said this for the first time ever, your Marvel movies will be able to cross over to Disney Plus, and will be able to tell these stories across both platforms. And basically saying this is the first time that the television shows are actually canon to the MCU overall. He said that.
Yeah, he said that.
I mean, all that infighting that he was having, at the time. So I mean, from everything that he said and everything that we've been led to believe, the fact that they weren't in the loop after what happened with Thanos, but then they were able to get that information for their final season. They didn't know that the snap was happening. If
Yeah.
these things were really connected, that there would have been a connection there.
Even though I'm pretty sure Agents of Shield did acknowledge the snap at one point,
Yeah,
I
it
never,
was
I
after.
never fully got invested.
It was like the next season after the release of Infinity War, I believe.
Mm. And I know Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson showed up in that show, but
Yeah, because in the
I don't
beginning
think
it
it's
was
canon.
going to be canon. In the beginning, they were going to have those have it tie and be canon, and then they changed that. So I mean, yeah, it was slightly canon, but no longer canon. type of thing, you know?
And also, it's movie. Jake says, I don't think Agents of Shield is canon. Yeah, and I don't think it's canon because Disney Plus Brazil put Agents of Shield in the Marvel Legacy category. Basically, the non-MCU movies, where the Fox X-Men movies go, where the Fox Fantastic Four movies go. That
That's
says it
a
all right
good
there.
point. That is a good
Yeah,
point.
and
I
plus
didn't even know that.
yeah, I was pretty. I should have covered it, but I'm glad I'm talking about it now. Yeah, that says it all. Even though Disney Plus in America actually didn't do that, I'm not sure. But still, you got Ghost Rider. They're
Is it?
probably going to reboot. Got to get Keanu Reeves for that. I rather Keanu Reeves play Johnny Blaze than the whole Robbie Reyes thing. Yeah, Agents of Shield is most likely not canon. And Secret Invasion is rumored to actually, bring back Agent Coulson. They're probably gonna ignore Agents of Shield and bring him back in another way, like start this whole new story with him. Make that canon. So yeah, that's
Maybe he's a
interesting.
scroll.
Maybe that could be a good point. Kevin Feige will never do hard R material.
It's not
While
true. Deadpool.
that is true. While characters get hurt, you
Sorry.
don't see the full scope of the violence. It's just enough to show you, but no more than that. Some of these characters would benefit from a hard R rating. Yeah, I would love for Blade to be rated R. Probably not going to happen. My thing is, Kevin Feige said that Deadpool is established as an R rating. The reason why it's established is because Fox went out there and gave it the R rating. How do you know Blade isn't R rated unless you go out there and you make the R rating? Because you could do it with a PG-13 rating. I would prefer it to be R, but you could do it with PG-13. I just think maybe try a little harder to make it R. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
When I think obviously he's talking about, because what you said about Deadpool 1 and 2 already being films that exist that are rated R, and I think that outside of that, they more than likely won't do anything rated R because they loved Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool so much that they were willing to accept, what they already got because they thought that, Deadpool was a good character and they were willing to, stay with that R rating. I don't see them bringing in a new character that they're developing for the first time in the MCU as an R-rated property. Now, I think Blade could benefit from that, but then that takes out the family element that the MCU likes to. The MCU doesn't just want to appeal to families; they want to appeal to everyone, kids, teenagers, young adults, parents, families. They want that overall appeal, and you can't have that overall appeal with an R rating. I think that's the main thing, is they want their films to try to reach as many people as it possibly can. And we know that those R ratings aren't really appropriate for the 8-year-olds, because the 8-year-olds, can get, oh, it's a superhero, that's Spider-Man, or usually they're excited for that part. When you get a little bit older, it's more about the story and other things, but they can't enjoy these characters. So, and I think that's really what the MCU is mainly about, is trying to appeal to as many people as they possibly can. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I'm excited to see Blade, even though it's not going to be rated R. Mahershala Ali, like that casting. Yeah, I would have liked to see maybe, a separate universe solely focusing on those R-rated characters. Like you could have Ghost Rider, Punisher, Blade, like a Marvel Knights thing, a new Marvel Knights universe. I think that would have been really cool. You didn't have to bring it into the MCU at all, but it's going to be in the MCU, and I'm excited to see Blade interact with other characters. But will he top Wesley Snipes? Wesley Snipes benefited from that R rating because that R rating really, got into his personality and fully showed who Blade was. So we'll see, but I'm still excited for it. It is what it is.
That is very true. Very, very, very true.
So I think you have anything else to say?
Loki so far was a very solid episode. I'm excited to see episode 2 and where that leads. And I hope that we didn't get that strong emotional moment in the first episode and then get a turn of tone and it be a little bit more jokey. I don't believe it will. I mean, I feel like there's going to be jokes throughout, but I don't want it to be like, oh, they did that reveal so they could get him quicker to that redemption arc and then he's light and airy throughout the series. I think that would be a misstep, and I hope that that's not the route they're going to go. But I'm excited for episode 2. So far, I feel like this first episode, like I said before, is very, very strong and the strongest out of all 3 of the shows when it comes to straight out the gate. I feel like it knocked it out of the park. Owen Wilson is amazing in this show.
I love Owen Wilson.
And I'm so excited to see more of him. And we need Owen Wilson in the MCU.
Oh yeah, we do.
And if he's a villain, that would be
hopefully epic. It's done well.
Yeah, I hope it is too. If he is.
Strongest premiere. Would I agree with that? WandaVision episode 1 is my favorite episode of that entire series. I love episode 1, that 1950s sitcom. It just felt like old Hollywood. I loved how creative it was. But Loki, episode 1 stands a chance. I don't know if I would say it's better than WandaVision episode 1, but with the emotional beats and the whole mythology, I love the mythology. Oh man, it's hard. It's definitely neck and neck. In the coming days, maybe I might have a definitive answer, but if you think it's the strongest premiere, I cannot argue with you because I think, Loki episode 1 was strong. I cannot wait for episode 2. The show did its job in grabbing your attention, getting you invested. So jealous of those people who got to see the second episode already. Disney, you need to send me episode 2 already. I need to see it. Yes, Owen Wilson. I love Owen Wilson. So happy he's in the MCU. I can't wait to see what his character is all about. I'm excited to see the multiverse. Kid Loki, Lady Loki. That should be fun. And above all else, I'm very excited to see how this ends. Is Loki gonna die? Is he gonna perish? Is he gonna team up with the TVA? Yes, Jake. If I ever get those early screenings, I'll give you the code or whatever it is. We'll do a live watch party. Yes. We'll see we'll see the show. I'm really liking this show, and I would not be surprised if Loki is my favorite out of all 3. But we got What If in August, which is pretty cool. That seems like a cool animated style thing. Hawkeye, I think we're going to get by the end of the year. So there's going to be a lot of, I just love talking about new MCU content. I love theorizing. I love speculating. I love when the logo is playing and it shows Marvel Studios. You're in for a ride. You're in for something special. I always get that, tingly, awesome feeling about the MCU. We got Black Widow in July. Which, you know what, I might see it. I'm not 100% sold on it.
You weren't gonna see it?
No, because I have to save my money for Tobes, man. I gotta save my money for the Tobes, for the Batman 2022, for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Black Widow is definitely.
I will cash app you the money to see it.
No, but
or I'll let you or something. You gotta see it. Or I'll
Oh
find it
man,
on the site for you. Wink, wink.
yeah. You know, if it gets fantastic. Oh my god, I have to talk to you about this. Did you see that clip with Yelena and Natasha, and they're talking to each other, and Yelena is making fun of Black Widow's pose?
No.
Oh my god, I sound
When
like
did this?
Janice from Friends. It was an awful, awful scene. One of the cringiest jokes I've ever heard, seen in a superhero movie. I kid you not. What? Jake?
When did this
What?
come out?
No, man, don't turn to the dark side. You can't say that.
Hold on.
Please.
When was this released?
Oh my, I
But
don't
I've
know.
seen
I
them
just
all.
randomly saw it. I hated it. Her accent was so bad. It was so cringy. It was one of the worst superhero jokes I've
Oh
ever
no.
witnessed. I kid you not. Ashley, you need to see this. Yes.
Oh
It
my
is.
gosh.
When people complain about the MCU being too jokey and too stupid, when Martin Scorsese says that MCU films aren't cinema, this is exactly what he's talking about. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Kimmel, Florence Pugh interview.
Oh, it's an interview. It's not actually from the movie then, right?
No, it is from the movie. It was a clip that was featured in the interview. It
Is it
feels
on
like a
I need a
parody. It feels
link.
like something Jimmy Kimmel would do as like a parody, but no, it's actually in the movie. Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, you're making me sick right now.
I
No, I
am
didn't
sick.
see it.
Oh,
Oh no.
it is. It is. The clip is at the end of the interview. You can literally just look up, like on the internet, Black Widow making fun
That's
of
what I'm
Pose
doing.
or whatever. Oh, it is awful. It is awful.
4 days ago?
Maybe, I don't know.
Or was Florence Pugh's got it on a black dress, right?
I don't know.
You don't remember.
I
You're a
saw that
guy.
clip
You're a guy.
once. I saw that clip once, and I never touched that clip again. I thought it
Was
was
it like,
hilarious.
yeah, so
Dude, I just, I definitely respect your opinion. I could see people who think it's funny because it's meta, and it's meta, like, haha, it's funny. But I just, oh god, it came off as so cringy to me. Just
why is she looks,
she sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You put your hands in the background, and it's just like,
oh, here it
oh,
is. Here it is.
watch it and give me your reaction. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Hold on. Oh my gosh. This is
Oh,
actually in the movie. Hold on. Let me mute myself so I can.
yes, she will be back. Oh, I really need to know what Ashley thinks. Yeah, I mean, dude, there are, I think, I don't know if it's two total, but the two first clips that came out of Black Widow, they both started off with jokes. Like, people are saying this is going to be the next Winter Soldier, and stylistically, maybe, but tonally, no way. Winter Soldier barely had any jokes. That's what I love about the Winter Soldier. It's a serious, dark film. Black Widow is just, that is not on my priority list. Spider-Man No Way Home is. The Batman 2022 is. Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of
Are you
Madness.
hating? So you're over here hating on my show while I'm watching the clip. I hear you. I couldn't really understand. I understand what you're saying about her voice. Yeah, her voice sounded weird.
Yeah, the accent is rough. She sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I hated that LMAO. I hated that.
But I need more context. I mean, did it seem silly? Yeah, but they are sisters. So for me, that moment with them, I'll buy it for that. But yeah, it's not the greatest scene. It's not a great moment,
man. The
or
first
anything.
Two clips, the first two clips of Black Widow are joke clips. It's just like, people are saying, like I said to Jake, people are saying there's going to be the next Winter Soldier. Stylistically, maybe. Tonally, no way. Winter Soldier was serious and dark, barely had any jokes. That's what I love about it. Black Widow has these cringy jokes that I can't stand. I can't stand it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think there's that many. Did you see the first look? What did you think of the first look?
I did not see the first look. I don't want to touch Black Widow. I don't even want to.
You
I don't
hear
even want.
this?
I mean, I might see the movie because it's MCU. I'm a superhero fan. I'll basically see anything, but
I'm
yeah,
crying
I
inside.
gotta catch a matinee. I am definitely not paying full price for Black Widow. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Everyone
gosh.
but you
Listen to
seem to love
this.
that clip. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I respect your opinion if you like it, but the majority of people are laughing and it's
And
funny. I
this
don't.
guy up here likes Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's crazy.
Yes,
So
I
can we
like
trust
Aaron
his
Taylor Johnson as
opinion? No,
Craven.
we can't trust his opinion, ladies and gentlemen.
Hopefully, it plays better in context in the movie.
Yeah, just picking with you.
I do like Aaron Taylor Johnson. Man, make Aaron Taylor Johnson the next Black Widow. That'd be better.
Hey, according to MSK, it should be Danny Glover. So, I mean, come on. Oh,
LMAO, yeah. But yeah, Black Widow is just, you got to prioritize. I have to see Spider-Man No Way Home.
okay.
I
Yeah,
have
you
to
got to see
see
it.
the Batman.
And
I
I
don't have to see Black Widow. I don't have to see Eternals. Those are movies I could just, sort of see when I see.
see, I have to see them all.
Yeah, when before Endgame, I had to see every MCU project because I was so invested in that universe. But now that Endgame has ended, part of me says that maybe the MCU should have ended there.
No,
So
that's a silly. I'm like, guys, just because something ends doesn't mean you can't start anew.
that's true. Like, it's unrealistic for me to say end the MCU at Endgame because there's honestly a lot more. There's lots more stuff that you can do. You haven't introduced Fantastic Four or X-Men. I can't wait to see Fantastic Four. But yeah, it's just yeah, Jake. You see where I'm coming from? That's just where I'm at. But I get
You
to
will be
pick and choose
renewed.
now.
You
That's
will
the
be
beauty of
renewed.
Endgame. I get to pick and choose what I truly want to see. I'm not as invested anymore. Um, Terrence says, I don't have to see Black Widow, but it looks fun. The Eternals is more like Marvel's agenda.
I do agree with the second part.
Yeah,
Marvel's
I try not
agent.
to
I
get
do.
political or whatever.
No,
But
no, in the sense that that if you look at who the Eternals are, they're basically unrecognizable from their comic book counterparts.
right.
And it's just I'm not making it political. I'm just saying when we're changing the characters here within the context of the source material,
Yeah, that's
I don't
fair. That's fair.
necessarily agree with that because that's not how they pull off the page, and I'm just so tired of that happening. A lot of the times, and it just doesn't. It seems lazy and just an easy fix to try to bring in a more diverse, rounded characters instead of using existing characters or creating new characters.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I'm just say quickly, I'm worried because the film has like 13 characters. Like, in a
yeah,
2-hour, 10-minute movie, you're gonna flesh out all 13 characters. Like, it's I don't think it's gonna be the best MCU movie like everyone is saying. It might be, who knows? But I just think
visually,
it's unrealistic.
I think
But there's
visually
gonna
it
be
won't
those.
be.
Oh yeah, visually, like I think it will be one of the best MCU movies because of the director. Cinematography is beautiful. It is stunning. But I'm not there just for the cinematography. I'm there for the story. I'm there for the characters, and I'm just not confident. I'm not confident. There are going to be tons of MCU fanboys. Oh, this is going to be the best MCU movie ever. The diversity is great. And the other. Yes, Jake. We shall see. I can't even recognize the Eternals. That movie, based off the trailer, is Marvel's way of checking off the fake boxes of diversity. Even from a visual perspective, that's not the best. You know, I just the most interesting Eternal to me was Richard Madden. But that's just
Mm.
because of the suit. But we shall see. I think that is a great point to end it, though. I know Widow is very, very busy. She has very, very important, lots of important things to do. Even though I could go for 10 hours. If we
Oh,
had a
I
Spider-Man
mean,
No Way
I
Home
definitely
trailer,
come back.
yeah,
Yeah, and you know what? If I'm free and it happens tomorrow, I would love to come look and discuss it with you, because you know where I am about this and I know where you are. So it'd
we are
be a
polar
good,
opposites, but we have so much respect for each other. So yeah, if it
yes.
comes out tomorrow, Friday, I'd love to do that and talk about it and trash on Tom Holland some more.
Yes, I've got to.
Let's just read these final comments. I don't mind the diversity at all. I just hope it's good. Yeah, I just want a good film. I don't want a pandering film. I just want a good film. I feel like Loki is getting a second chance at a better life in this timeline. Yeah, that beautiful scene that Widow and I talked about. There's redemption there for sure.
Yes.
Superwise, a bunch of humans will say the Eternals is good, whether it is or not, because it's Marvel. But I will watch it and hope it's decent. Yeah, there are tons of MCU fanboys that are just gonna go crazy over this, but you know, we'll see. We'll see.
I
Eternals looks,
expect it to. I
yeah, go
expect it
ahead.
to be visually stunning.
Probably the best in the MCU. I'll give it that. Probably the best. It looks practical. The stars say that it felt like an indie film while filming it. Like, I get that. Eternals looks boring. Yeah, that teaser trailer. The teaser trailer is supposed to sell you. It did not sell me. The cinematography is great, but I wanted more cosmic stuff. And Shang-Chi had some badass action, and that was a teaser trailer that sold me. Eternals did not sell me. Proper diversity is good, not some pandering Hollywood BS. Yes, like the Black Clark Kent situation. I like Tom Holland Toby a lot. Yes, I like Tom Holland. I trash on him a lot, but I swear I recently rewatched Homecoming. I do enjoy that movie a lot. I like him as Spider-Man. I do, but yeah, Toby is just the GOAT to me. I just finished watching it a few minutes ago. I loved it. Yeah, it was a really good episode. You need to rewatch the stream. Comment down below. Yeah, boring. LMAO. The teaser was slow for sure. Yeah, I hope we get a better trailer, because right now it's not on my priority list. I can just skip it right now. Black Widow is Black Widow. Black Widow is pandering. Black Superman is pandering. Sam Wilson, Captain America's real diversity. Yeah, that
I
wasn't
agree.
forced for the most part. I love him as Captain America, even though Steve will be the GOAT to me. Yes, I can't wait to see
Mhm.
Sam Wilson in the future. I don't think it will. I don't think it will be a visual feast, as a lot of humans are suggesting. We've seen a lot of great visuals in the MCU. This is just more of the same that happens with
But
every MCU film.
what's her name? Is it Chloe's? It's Chloe. I always, her name's
Chloe
Chloe
Zhao.
Zhao.
From what I
She
heard,
does. She's really good. I mean, Nomadland is quite. It's kind of boring, but visually, it's a nice. It's she's
yeah,
good
visually
with those
it's great,
visual
but
shots. Yeah, she's really good at that, and with that bigger budget, I can see it just being this beautiful, epic thing,
yeah, beautiful shots, man,
especially from
beautiful
a
shots.
cinematography visual standpoint. I mean,
Nomad
it
was
was
absolutely
good.
amazing.
I'm sorry.
Uh, Very slow and meandering though. I expect Eternals to be at a slower pace. Yeah,
Yeah, I do too.
I'm just not invested right now, but we will see. But that's a great way to end it. We talked about Loki, we talked about Blue Beetle for a little bit, and we talked about General Marvel. It was great to have this conversation with you. Just the two of us, we made some great conversation. I
Yeah.
thought the Loki stream would be like, we started talking about Loki. I was like, wow, this is gonna end pretty fast. But no, we talked and we engaged. Final comment: I prefer Falcon when he was Falcon, but he was cool as Captain America. But I like when original Black characters stay original Black characters. Yeah, it could be, because like, where's my Static Shock? Where, like, original, like with Black Clark Kent, he will always be white. It's tokenization, like, give Jon Stewart his own movie, give Static Shock his own movie. We want real diversity, not tokenization. So yeah, Terrence, I definitely get you. It's a great way to end it. I've said it 3 times now, but Widow's got things to do, and I have got to watch Friends.
Friends.
I finished. I finished it. I finished the show, and I'm trying to get
Uh-huh.
Nerdman and Pickle on the same stream so we can talk about it, because they have some arguments and disagreements, and I got to break the I gotta break the arguments. It just has to be the right time. Hopefully, I can get them on
Yeah.
soon. We will see. But go ahead and check out the Widow on
Well,
YouTube.
thank you.
She makes some awesome content, daily content. She's a Tom Holland lover and a Toby hater. I would beware
I'm
of
not a
that.
Toby hater. I'm not a Toby hater. I love Toby.
I'm just joking. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for showing up, Jake. It was great to have you here. One of these days, you should definitely come on. I'd love to have you here in the future. So subscribe to the Widow, and of course, subscribe to me, Superwise. I'm at 419 right now. Wow, I gained 3 subs today. That's awesome. Thank you guys. I can't wait to see Loki episode 2, and these live streams are fun. I love getting people on here and just talking. So I also have a Discord. If you want to check out my Discord, I put channel announcements there. I don't think I'm getting social media anytime soon because, it's a crazy environment. But, Discord, we can talk individually and we could talk as a group. We could do live streams over there. It's fun. Jake, yes, thank you so much for coming, man. You're awesome. Subscribe to Movie Talk with Jake and Chris, by the way. Underrated as hell. They have some awesome content. Stay super wise. Stay super wise. Oh, you just joined. Yes, awesome. We can chat there, and yeah, awesome. So I think that's a great way to wrap it. Thank you to everyone who showed up. It was awesome. Thank you, Widow, for showing up. Awesome to have you here. Made some great conversation, and
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was awesome. And fingers crossed for a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer tomorrow or either Friday. Peter Rabbit is on Friday, so maybe we will see another Sony movie. Another Sony trailer. We will see. But yes, thanks, Jake, Terrence, Gus. Who else? Chillmonger. All of you. Thank you all for showing up. So please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember my catchphrase, guys. Stay super wise.